Living intentionally can be difficult in our hyper-stimulating world. All these flashing lights and sounds are beautiful and capturing. However, these attractions often leave us feeling lost and unmotivated. Our guest today, Julie Hilson, and I, your host, Sam Aiko, will be diving in on how you can connect to the spirit realm and find divine wisdom. Julie shares her passion for living life of magic and joy. Her debut book is a powerful tool for self-discovery and finding the joy in everyday life. She lives in Georgia with her husband, Mitch, and her two sons, Reese and Blake. When she's not talking to angels and creating, you can find her hiking or playing tennis or cooking. Follow our show and bookmark our podcast so you don't miss out on our fantastic Matrix members. Julie, I'm so excited to speak to you today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, Sam, it's my absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me. That was such a great introduction. I don't even know if I can say anything more. I think you covered it all. Thank you.
My pleasure. How did you find your work?
Oh, it was, that's a great question. It's a long path, right? I mean, you have these feelings of, is there something more? You know, like I'm going through life and I'm checking all the boxes, but something's missing. And I'm going to church, and then I married a Jewish man, and we went to synagogue, and I love the songs. I love faith. I love spirituality, but there's always like this connection I was missing, and I was always searching and curious. And so I think sometimes you have to really get hit in the face before you wake up. And I had some dark moments of the soul where I was like, you know, there's got to be more than this. I wanted to be closer to my husband. I wanted to be a more joyful mom. I wanted not to miss out on these opportunities. And I felt like tasks of life were just burying me, and I was a zombie. And I had to, you know, just sit back and just ask. I had to ask God, you know, show me the way, because I know that I can show up in a better way. And so I just went through soul searching and taking classes and reading books and a lot of discernment. Yeah. And then when COVID hit, the angels kept tugging on me to write, but I'd been with the angels for over 10 years. I had gotten trained to be an angel practitioner and lots of angelic healing, and part of a group in my community. So the angels were really strong. And so when I thought, who am I to write a book? They just kept telling me, Julie, you can write this book. And so I did, and I channeled it, and it's just lovely. And sometimes I read it over again and I just get teary-eyed, because a lot of the messages are for me, because it's things that helped me. So I'm just honored to have it in a format and be able to talk about it, to, you know, maybe give some people some clarity and help them find their own joy, because it's individual. That's why it's tricky. I can't tell you what your joy is. It's self-discovery, but you have to give yourself permission that you deserve it.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Mm.
Can you tell the audience? I heard the term channeling, and it's something very fascinating. Even Deepak Chopra says that, like, when he writes, he's channeling like different beings in different realms for inspiration. Can you tell the audience what channeling is and how you found it?
Yeah, I mean, we have no idea how much channeling is involved with our society. I mean, you look at movies, how do they come up with these ideas? And I do believe the angels help us, you know, in cinema. They help produce movies like Avatar. Oh my gosh, that is so spiritual. That is so divine. Channeling's everywhere. Nobody has original ideas. We're all getting things from the ethers, right? So when you think about your human existence you're a spiritual being having a human existence on this planet. So there's lots of things you can tie into, and there's lots of things you can ignore because it's not something you can put your hand on. But we're exposed to it constantly. And sometimes the things that are most in your face, you don't see, right? Like, so, and a lot of times it's easy to ignore. Like, for example, the love of your mother. It was always there. And then until you go away from her, you don't realize how much she really loved you. And even though she's a pain, it's because she loves you. And so it's that kind of phenomenon that's in your face all the time, and you can't see it. So that's the magic of it. So to get to the channeling part, you have to have like I said, that intention, that desire. So that starts with the desire. And then you have to open up to receiving. And we were talking about this in the pre-interview, just that getting quiet, giving yourself permission to have that space of quiet so that you can discern what you want to think, what your thoughts are, even, because we're so bombarded. Like in your introduction, we have all these great things coming at us all the time, but until you get quiet and just hear the silence, you can't hear the inspiration. You can't find your joy. And it all comes back to that settle, be still, and God will come through. Your message will come through. Your guides can come through. It's simple, but not easy. You have to really want that space. Yeah. And I think some people do it really unconsciously, and, they're so gifted, but I had to really work on it. I had to do a lot of steps. So, if I can do it, anyone can, because I'm the busiest busybody. I have to really concentrate to say, okay, that's enough. Be still.
Thank you. Would you say that channeling is similar to how we pick up radio? How we have to have a specific channel on a frequency in order to tune in?
Yeah, I've heard it described like that. Yeah, it really that does make sense. And a lot of it is being with, how do I say it? You're having this open heart. And so when your heart is open, when you're at a place of non-judgment, you can go back to I don't know if you've ever heard the Hawkins scale.
I love when I go to the gym and I see smoothie bars. However, I don't love smoothie bar prices. With my BlendJet 2 portable blender, I can make smoothie bar quality beverages for a fraction of the price, right before or after my workout. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code OrganicMatrix12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever.
It's a scale of consciousness. Oh my gosh, this is I have it on my website, but this man, he's a psychologist, psychotherapist. But anyway, he spent 20 years studying emotions and the frequency that comes off your brain and your body as you have specific emotions. So shame, guilt, judgment, those are all low frequency. Those are low power emotions. If you want to have high frequency, you're in unconditional love, acceptance, non-judgment. All those woo-woo words, those are actually strength. It's like when we can be in our strength, and our highest frequency are those kinds of emotions. And so it's really cool. He goes through, and the one that I really loved was closure. Closure is a low frequency. The higher frequency is acceptance. So if you're in an argument, or if somebody that you depended on let you down, it's better to accept the situation, or even you don't have to have them say they're sorry. It's just you accept that, that's sort of where they were. But we always want to be like, oh, they didn't apologize, or I don't have closure. Closure isn't a high vibration. It's a polarity. So basically anything that polarizes, is a low frequency. So when you say tune in, it's like a mindfulness of keeping your frequency high so you can get to those lovely, gooey messages that are the magic that the universe wants to provide for you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you just gave me such a great revelation of acceptance. Now it makes sense to me why in the Bible they're like, love your enemy. All right, I was like, what does that possibly mean? How can I love a trespasser? I'm not going to let them trespass again. But that's not love. Letting them hurt you is not love. But I could see this acceptance instead of trying to get closure, trying to control another person that already let you down. That's just a cyclical punishment for the self. Acceptance, loving your neighbor. I love you for who you are, in the sense that I accept where you are in life, and that I'm not going to hold on to that anymore. That is a great magic spell for forgiveness, because I was listening to Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil taught me what forgiveness meant, when I was 24. And he said, forgiveness isn't a feeling that comes over you. You forgive, now you feel better. Forgiveness is a conscious decision that you're going to accept what happened, and you're going to move on and still be yourself and be happy and not like give yourself away, like the best pieces of you away. So thank you for that. That really hit home for me. And now I have like a whole different perspective on closure because I feel like we can get so stuck yearning for it. Like with, I had some open wounds with my mom. She like passed away 3 years ago. And like you're giving me healing now from that because there's a lot of things I didn't get closure from because I can't hear her feedback. But thank you, Julie. Like you truly gave me a gift. And Matrix members, like I hope this hit your heart the way it hit mine.
Oh my gosh, Sam, when you started talking, I just got chills down one side of my body. And that's the angels saying they're rejoicing. They're so happy that was a healing message. And I thank you, angels, for doing that for me too, because that's just lovely. My vibration just went up. And yeah, and I think your point, like, gosh, you don't have to endure. Like, if that's where someone is, like, I see you. You know, that's where you are, but I'm going to protect myself. I'm a sacred being, and I'm not going to allow you to do this. And that's just where we are, and all the best to you, you know, like, good day. Like, go do your messy, you know, stuff over there. I'm gonna go do my glitter over here. I'm gonna go be a unicorn. I don't know.
Yes, I love it. How would you describe the spirit realm?
Well, I think when you talked about frequency, like that's the spirit realm. It's a higher frequency. It's a, you know, the dimensions, you know, it's the fifth dimension and up. Well, I believe, I'm not an expert on dimensions, but fifth dimensions like heaven, sixth dimensions like energetics. And when you get higher and higher, you get to source dimensions. But yeah, so a dimension is a place you go where there's less form, where it's more energetic and lovely. Everything I've ever, in fact, I was on a training. I'm constantly doing training because I'm just curious. And last night I was on a training with Jill Matson, and she's amazing. She does a lot of music healing and frequency. And she was guiding us to get to different dimensions to go heal. So it was really cool, Sam. So we found something that hurt, like something that was bothering us, and we found out where that was in our field right now. And then we raised our frequency to go to the fifth dimension and feel the loving, the acceptance, the no more pain part. And we grabbed that and brought it back to us. And it was beautiful. And you have to sort of go through the steps, but I mean, that kind of thing is possible, and you're changing your outcome because you're healing something that's hard here, but in the fifth dimension, those things don't exist because you're divine and perfect in the other dimension. And then there's lower dimensions where you've made all the wrong choices and you're self-suffering and sabotaging, and you know, and we have to experience all those dimensions as we are right now. So sometimes you might cry or feel emotions you don't understand, but it could be that lower dimension getting through. And then, like you said before, I have this conscious decision to try to figure out what it is and to get through it, because you can't ignore your feelings or your hurt. You have to honor what you're going through, even if you don't understand it.
I have a question. So if we're like meditating and like this pain starts surfacing, is that our lower dimensional selves trying to ascend?
Yeah. Especially if you see it that way.
Wow, that gives me so much more compassion.
Yeah, compassion, totally. You can be like, oh man, I feel this. I don't know, the other night my heart just started aching, and I was like, what is going on? And so I said, hey, you know, I feel my heart aching, and I asked some questions, and I did some bringing in some light and try to bring clarity to that. But yeah, I mean, it's not like you figure out joy and you never have an angst again. You have to spiral up. It's a spiral of getting to the higher place, but you're never going to slip as low as when you started. You're going to keep ascending. So it's so worth it. And, you know, it's when you get to the point where you're like, okay, my soul's trying to teach me something again, it gets to be more of an adventure than, you know, you're going to feel that human ego be like, why me? And then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, why me? But what's going on here? And then you can have curiosity and exploration. And And I'm not saying that I don't self-sacrifice and suffer some days where I just get low, I don't know. I'll just sit in my misery and be like, that's stupid. I don't sit in my misery anymore. I rise up. I figure it out. So it's like, I hope that was clear and I didn't just ramble.
Oh yeah, honestly, like you have a lot of heart power because it takes so much conscious discipline to take care of yourself in an energetic way because we know what stress does to us. Like our feelings, our emotions, how we perceive things affects our body, affects our health. Stress can give us illness. Stress can damper our immune system. And so like not giving your power away and like choosing to rise up. You're doing everybody in the world a justice. You're doing yourself a justice, the public a justice. And I'm glad that we got into this point because I was gonna ask you like, how do you keep fighting like I want to say fighting, but I feel like it's not the right term, but pursuing a high vibration because oddly enough, I remember in my spiritual awakening when I was a teenager, I was like becoming ego charged with the spiritual things I was learning and the secrets of the occult and like that it seemed like no one around me was at that curiosity level about these scriptures and like I didn't know how self-righteousness was like a low frequency vibration. Like as I was developing spiritually, I learned that I'm looking at these new shiny objects in the occult, but I'm functioning from a low vibration because the emotions that I'm feeling are coming from judgment. And
Mm-hmm.
so how can we decipher? Because sometimes it's hard to notice that we're in a low vibration because those low vibration feelings for some reason have so much energy, so much
Mm-hmm.
reaction, so much possession over
Mm-hmm.
what we think and do. Like, how do
And
we
they're
learn
around
how
us.
to?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. They're around us all the time, and there's signs that there's subconscious signs coming in. And once you realize, you're like, "Whoa, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to listen to that." Like, there's certain songs like I cannot even. My husband loves classic rock, and I'm like, "Oh no, turn that off!" Like it sounds like glass, like on the chalkboard. It's just like, but when you're asking me that question, what came to me the strongest and this is what it comes down to and why I wrote my book. It comes to love. It comes to unconditional love. So that's not just for yourself but everyone around you. So you're not gonna judge or say, oh, they're ignorant. You're gonna have, like you said before, compassion. Like, they haven't experienced this. They weren't curious about this. And everyone has their path, and total non-judgment, because you know there might be somebody who repeats exactly the path you did. They're just on your path, in your past self. So yeah, it's like that idea that we're the universal law of one, that everything is connected. And so when you see something in someone else that affects you, that's because it's part of you too. So it's that perspective of, I'm not better than anyone else. I'm humble. I'm and well, the other thing is that helps me is I ask God for the highest good every day. I say, just show me the highest good, show me the highest expression of this day. And that keeps me very centered, because then I'm not self-sacrificing at all. I'm showing it up as my best self, and that helps everyone else. So that's how I keep my true north on that, I guess. And then there are days where I can't engage. Like, I have to have ultimate self-care. I might need to take an Epsom salt bath, or just read some books, or like later today I'm going to go for a hike. I'm not going to work the rest of the day. I'm going to go recharge in nature. And so yeah, it's that getting to know what you need, because it's different for everyone else. So I hope that helped.
Absolutely, I think that helps a lot. Thinking about the highest good, because I'm sure that a lot of us find ourselves in a situation where it's like, should I get back at this person with an attitude because I'm annoyed? Or can I look at the highest good and say, let's talk about a subject we agree on instead? Like, so I like that perspective because that definitely helps the conundrum of like not being charged by lower vibrational emotions, because it's so hard. I don't know
Yeah, because if you don't
how.
let yourself go there, you're not going to grab power from it because you realize it's not your attunement. If that makes any sense. Like you see the dark, and I've seen the dark, and I've been scared of the dark. That's one of the things that I was, someone gave me a tarot card deck when I was a teenager, and I was like, oh no, that's a cult. Like, and then curious about it, and then I strayed away from the angels because I was like, I don't know, maybe the dark angels, the fallen angels will get to me. Like I definitely went through those times where I was like, I don't know.
Hey there, health and wellness enthusiasts. Are you tired of sifting through countless supplement brands at their bold claims only to be disappointed by the quality or results? Your search ends here with Bulk Supplements. At bulksupplements.com, they're dedicated to providing you with the finest, most reliable nutritional supplements without the fluff or gimmicks. Their products are thoroughly tested and come in their purest form so that you can trust that you are getting the best. With over 500 supplements available in bulk, including vitamins, minerals, herbs, mushrooms, amino acids, proteins, you'll find exactly what you need to support your fitness journey, boost your immune system, or enhance your overall well-being. Why should you choose bulksupplements.com? Purity. They prioritize the highest quality ingredients without unnecessary additives. Affordability. Their bulk options make you get more value for your money. Convenience. Shop easily online and enjoy hassle-free shipping right to your doorstep. And variety. Explore their extensive selection to find the perfect supplements for your unique needs. Transform your health and wellness routine with the power of bulksupplements.com. Visit their website and use the promo code ORGANICMATRIX for a discount off your future purchases. Experience the difference that pure, high-quality supplements can make in your life. Remember, it's not about the supplement, it's about investing in a better you.
I don't know if this is worth it. And then the angels just kept at me, and I just, as long as you're attuned to the highest good and love, you don't have to worry about that because it's not even going to hit you. If, they say entities will attack, or you hear about this embodiment or walk-ins and all that. I mean, if you have a higher vibration, they don't have the opportunity. You could encounter something and be like, oh, I see you, take it easy, whatever. But you're not going to engage with it because it doesn't feel right because you're at a different vibration.
I just had like a thought pop into my head.
Yeah.
Like, it made me think of Christ consciousness. Is like when we see these low vibrational entities, like in the Bible, we're taught like in the name of Christ, it's our birthright to cast these spirits away. Like I rebuke you. But then I realized in like a frequency level, like it could have a double meaning. Like what if achieve Christ consciousness, achieve that fifth dimension, and you will not be harassed by spirits? Because I know like the spirits, they can only be with you if you're at a low frequency, right? Because they come to you like at the same level, right? Like, oh, that's another thing later on I want to touch on. But being a high vibrational person and a low frequency thing, like the rock music sounding like glass to you, I feel like that's on an energetic level. Like these low entities, when they face with someone of a high frequency, that's how they kind of feel, like if they're stepping on glass because it's not their attunement. Can you like add? Yeah.
I love that insight, Sam. That makes so much sense. It goes both ways. Love it.
Thank you. So how old were you when you had your first spiritual experience?
I think I was like 6. I had a very, very strong deja vu. And the deja vu was like, I told my mom and she couldn't explain it to me. Well, she's just told me, I think that's deja vu. And that was it, And then I have this quirky thing, like I can hear a song once on the radio, and if I really like it, I know all the words and I know all the notes. Like I can sing along with any song on the radio. I'm like the worst person to go on a road trip with because I know every word, every song that I like. And I think music is very spiritual, and So that when I was young, it was the music, my connection to nature, and those like an experience at a young age with extreme deja vu. I always sensed if someone is at a lower vibration. I never said they were evil or anything, but there are certain people I just couldn't be around. Like we had a neighbor who I found out later he was like a sexual predator, and he would tell girls he was taking pictures for Playboy and he wasn't. Like, but he lived across the street from me. And I knew from the moment I saw him that he was not someone to be around. Like I was always highly sensitive to energy. So I was given that as a gift, and yeah, crazy stuff.
How does a high frequency being like adapt to being around a lot of low vibrational frequencies? I have like a lot of my friends, they feel isolated. Sometimes I'm one of them because it's like, like the chalkboard, like sometimes being around people, like I'm in New York. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of people like, I'm walking here. Go take out the garbage. Like a lot of like talking at you. How does a high vibrational being adapt to an environment like that?
I've been in New York many times. And I think that Central Park is really the heartbeat of the city. I don't think the city would have anything that it has right now if it didn't have Central Park. So I know when I go to New York City, I always have to spend some time at Central Park. And I don't really stay more than 3 days because I hear what you're saying. And, have you heard about the Native American Indians who wouldn't sleep on the island? Because the energy I mean, you really have to work your energy because I don't know the story, like I can't say where to find it, but I did hear that and I was like, oh, well, that sort of makes sense because energetically it's very charged. So the Native American Indians are very sensitive to it. So they would come on to New York, onto the island and do ceremonies or business or something, but they would never sleep there. So to me, I think it's one of those places where you have to be very conscious about your self-care and connect with people at a heart level, because I know there's lots of caring people in New York City. Like, I went to the same marketplace for the 3 days I was there every day, and I could feel the love in the people. So the people are fine. You just have to find your people, right? and then as you show up in the world as you are, you find those other people that are loving and of that vibration. But I think it's a lot of self-awareness and get to Central Park, have your plants around your house, have your pets. Your pets are so integral in giving that unconditional love and something that you can connect with how do you say that word, telepathically, because spirit is telepathic. So when we understand what our pets need, what they're trying to say to us, that's why I love these social media videos with the people with the dogs that are trained to push the buttons. And I don't, if they're fabbing that, if that's fake, I mean, all the more, because some people are like, oh, they can totally fake that. That's not really happening. But I believe that really is real. Like those dogs that are pushing the speech buttons, I think that's just so amazing. And I think we can communicate with them their way too, reading their signals. We get good at reading what our pets need and love and how to love them, then that's a really great way to keep your vibration high and stay grounded.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And I taught my dog how to use buttons and he picked it
You
up.
did?
Yeah, he really does it. And he knows which one. Like when the cat comes to the bedroom, he clicks like outside and he panics because he's scared of the cat. He's like, the cat's outside. The cat's outside.
I love it. That's so cool. Thank you for that validation, because I'm watching these videos and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And it's not just What About Bunny anymore. There's lots of them. And I love that because I'm a speech pathologist and she is too. And I was like, oh, she's so good. How'd she think, how did she do that? That's such a good idea. But, it's like, oh, I just, it never even occurred to me that it could be fabricated. And then someone told me that, I was like, oh no. So thank you for clarifying that they really can do it. Your dog does it.
Yep, they do. And they did brain scans of dogs and like dogs can learn, like, know, like, I think like 100 words, human words that they can learn.
Yeah.
Like they have the learning comprehension of like a 4-year-old or 5-year-old.
Oh.
So they have their own vocabulary. It only makes sense. They spend so much time with us. Like they have to know. Like they read our, and then one thing like to touch upon like the telepathy between like our companions, our furry companions. 100% like me and my dog know each other so well. Like he can look at me a certain way, and I'm like, "What? You want your toy? Someone took your toy." Like I know exactly what he wants. Like the telepathy, I totally
Hmm.
relate to that. How does
Yeah.
telepathy show up for you? How can you like? How would you describe telepathy for someone who like never experienced it?
Oh, well, it's just like like words might come into your head that it's not your voice, or just a knowing. Some people just know, and some people can smell. Like they'll smell something and be like, "Oh, that's my grandma. That's what my grandma's house smelled like." But your grandma's nowhere around. Like it could be any of your senses, and you can actually increase the sense that is less if you focus on it. And if you ask for any messages to be brought to you by the sense of smell. Or I've been really working on my sense of hearing lately, getting quiet and just hearing what wants to come in, but it's just about paying attention.
That's the big thing.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing. Hey there, coffee lovers. Did you know that your daily cup of joe might be tainted with oils and chemicals? If you follow me on social media, you are well aware that I'm all about checking labels, and it's time we say goodbye to these harmful additives in 2023. Shockingly, many of Americans' beloved coffee creamers contain ingredients that you'll never knowingly mix into your coffee, such as canola oil, this potassium phosphate, and artificial flavors. But don't worry, we've got your back with Liard Superfood Creamers. These creamers are made from top-notch, all-natural, real food ingredients, giving you nothing but the best in every sip. Here's an inspiring tale. Liard began tinkering with his morning coffee routine almost 20 years ago. He discovered that adding healthy fats like coconut oil to his coffee not only enhanced the taste, but also provided him with incredible energy that lasted throughout the day. Eventually, he crafted the ultimate fuel-packed coffee and started sharing his secrets with his surf buddies. So why not make the switch to Liard Superfood Creamers today? Elevate your morning ritual, fuel your day with clean energy, and never worry about hidden and harmful ingredients again. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to liardsuperfoods.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code Organic Matrix at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
Yeah.
Does one need special training to connect to the spirit realm? And if so, what does that look like?
No, you don't need a guru. You don't need anybody. The way the universe is right now, with all the photons coming through and quantum physics, it's you don't need special training. You just need the intention and to get quiet. You can collaborate, but you're not gonna go through a 8-week training or go to India and be any further ahead than just your intention and being in your own body and figuring it out on your own. You can, if you want some kind of ability, all you got to do is ask. That's the point. And that's the reason I wrote my book. I think people are very curious about how to connect. And so I give the words to ask, to bring them in, and you can use them or not, but it's as simple as asking. And sometimes you can just ask with your heart. You don't have to say the words, but words are very powerful frequencies. So you have to really pay attention to what you're saying and how you're saying it, because it will affect what you get. So if you're asking, you want to ask at a high vibration. And yeah, I guess there's basics to it, but you don't have to be like highly trained to connect. You just have to ask with the heart. And you can ask, you don't have to know the angel's name. I mean, Archangel Michael is huge. He protects us, and he's a spiritual warrior for us. But you can just do something as simple as saying, angels of health, help me with my headache, and you can just call in whatever angels, or you can form your own team, your guides. You can say, I really like, this is going to be a tough week and I want to bring in my team. I want my angels of good sleep. I want my angels of clarity, and I want my angels of strength. And whatever you want to focus on, and you can say, hey, team, and you can picture your team however you want to visualize it, and then say, okay, that's my team. And you can even give them a number, team 1, and that's your team. Like, you can, however you want to imagine your guides and angels, you can create that. You just have to visualize it and give it a name, give it a label, and then you can call it in. Like, I have 1221. When I say 1221, that's my angels to really help me get through something really hard. And I learned that through the Sisterhood of the Rose. That's a great group if you want to connect with. There's actually one in New York. There's 2 groups in New York City that I know of, the Sisterhood of the Rose, but it's all over the world. And that's a beautiful, like, they do healing meditations on YouTube once or twice a week, and you can sign up to be part of their group. And then there's different meditations that you can do on their website. And it's a high vibration and a great group. So yeah, but it wasn't like someone told me to find them. I just asked the universe to show me, and I was brought to these groups. So, it might be a different group for you. You have to find out with discernment what resonates for your path.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie. And personally,
Yeah.
you just hit on a bunch of synchronicities that are relevant to my life and Matrix members. Like, I hope you're getting the same bell ringing. And I definitely want to learn more about the Sisterhood of the Rose, because that just fits into a lot of the things I've been praying for. And like,
Oh,
I'll have to tell you more about it, like when we talk. But I don't want to get too off topic with my personal life, so I'll save it for after.
yeah. And I had no idea that was going to come through, but they just told me to say Sisterhood of the Rose, because I usually don't get on podcasts and talk about like my spiritual path because I want everyone to find their own. So usually I don't get that in depth. So I'm glad. Thank you, angels, for giving me that.
Yes, thank you, angels. Thank you, Julie, for being a great conduit.
Oh,
So, I would love if you can give us a little exercise or a little practice that our Matrix members and I can try to get silence and to tune in to the channel so that we can connect to divine wisdom. Can you give us a little exercise that we can do?
sure, sure. And then also, I just did an energetic exercise video on my website, and you can get it for free. So it's like 20 minutes, I think. It ended up being like 20 minutes, where I talk about different, ways to ground your body, things to think about to be more connected to your body and to feel good. So that's on www.youneedapeptalk.com. That's my website. So anyone who wants to check out a full length video, but we want to do one for now. And I don't want to do anything crazy in case someone's, operating machinery, but I'm in love with the breath. And so a quick reset for me is just breathing into my heart to a count of 6. So you're breathing in and breathing out for a count of 6. And if you can do that 3 times in a row, and okay, everyone's always like, breathe out through your mouth. But I say breathe out through your nose if you can, because your vagus nerve is the biggest nerve in your whole body, and it's the only nerve that you can consciously control. And when you breathe in and out of your nose, you're signaling your vagus nerve that you are in control, that you're relaxed and there's no threat. So if you can do that breathing in and out through your nose, then you might need to blow your nose to get a clear path, and that's good. That's self-care. But even if you get a little snotty, that's a good sign too, because you're working through something. So just honor your body and just breathe in 6 and out 6 and in 6. And I'm closing my eyes because I find that more happy for me. But obviously you don't want to do that if you're driving. But just giving yourself and understanding that when you're breathing in goodness, and when you're exhaling, you're breathing out anything that no longer serves you. So breathing in goodness, breathing out anything that no longer serves you. And that's a huge thing you can do just to get some clarity and calm your body on several levels.
I love that. And I already feel like so much more centered. And I love that exercise. That's something that we can definitely do it like at a high stress moment, an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Julie.
Sure.
So how can we use this new knowledge, this beautiful knowledge of divine wisdom to tackle our everyday lives?
Well, you can show up as your divine self and recognize the divinity in everyone else around you. So if things aren't going your way, it's something you need to see. It's part of your soul growth, and just own it. Own it. And like I said, own your divinity and everyone else's divinity. And when you can go into a situation like with that self-assurance, you're a divine being and the other person is too, you're not going to disrespect anyone. You're gonna give them anything that you can because you're going to see a need. And when you can fulfill a need in someone else, the angels dance with joy. And so, if you can just show up with that, it's huge. It transforms because you're all of a sudden you're this abundant being and you're bringing abundance and you're in that field. And so everything is going to work out. Everything is going to be fine.
Do you have kids, little cousins, nieces, and nephews? If so, I bet you're tired of the pain from stepping on Legos. And I bet you're fed up with the subpar cardboard jigsaw puzzles. We have a fantastic solution for you today. Wango Puzzles. These puzzles aren't just like any other ordinary jigsaw puzzle. They're an exceptional work of art, meticulously crafted from genuine wood. Breathtaking designs and distinct shapes. Wango Puzzles promise not only a delightful but stimulating experience, it'll keep you hooked. And the best part? All the pieces are guaranteed to be included, so you'll never have to worry about an incomplete puzzle again. Indulge your puzzle passion with Wango Puzzles, a true treat for your intellect and creativity. Say goodbye to flimsy cardboard and hello to premium wooden jigsaw puzzles. They're 100% wooden and they'll last forever. Each piece is hand-drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun, whimsical pieces as you work through it. They come in custom wooden box, which is a perfect gift for storage. With stunning designs and unique shapes, Wango puzzles are a cut above the rest. I love doing the snow globe puzzle myself. It was great to pull out a puzzle and have it done at night and have it on the table and not have it on the table for a week. What are you waiting for? Go to wangopuzzles.com and pick your puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code Organic Matrix to get 10% off your order. This is the most fun you'll have with the puzzle, I guarantee. Or get your money back. Go to wangopuzzles.com and use the code Organic Matrix to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now. I'm just getting such great feelings and visions. I just love our conversation. I already have love for you, Julie. Because like wow, you're speaking straight into like my spirit and it's like my spirit's getting a drink of water after not having water for months. Thank you so much
Well,
for that.
anytime, Sam. I put me on your speed dial. I don't know. Or your favorites. No one has speed dial anymore. I just aged myself, but favorites.
I would love to. That's an honor.
Of course.
Can you tell me what kind of services you provide for clients?
Mm-hmm. Well, right now I'm really focusing on getting my book out there because it's a challenge. It's a challenge to anyone who reads it to be on this quest to find their love and to surround themselves. I talk about, what's around you, the pillars of relationships, how you decorate. Like there's all these things that you can adjust. You can make little tweaks that just can support you. And I do offer coaching if anyone wants to reach out individually, but I haven't been really promoting it. But if somebody, wants to have a conversation, I'm open and they can message me on my website or I'm on Instagram, J Hilsen with Hilsen. So I'm here if something resonates or they want to know more. Please reach out and check out my website. I have my own podcast too, which is super fun. I love it. It's it feeds my soul too. So I understand when you say that, when you're able to create this container to bring in what you want to make the world nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah. And check out the energy exercises on my website. They're fun. It's a little crazy. We do an energy hookup, and my mentor, Donna Eden she's like awesome. I shout out to her on the video because some of the things that she's taught me have helped me like regulate. So it's all giving and taking and giving and taking. And so I'm happy to be in that place where I can give more.
Absolutely. What's the name of your podcast? I'm so excited.
It's the same as my book, Life of Love, A Joyful Guide to Self and Sensuality. Yeah. I'm on all the platforms, so yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to have to subscribe. So Julie, we're reaching the end of our interview. I just have 3 fun rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Do you think that aliens exist?
Yes. I think they're part of the spirit realm, honestly.
I'm right there with you. What is your perspective on the human condition today?
I think it's glorious. I really do. I think there's a lot of things surfacing that, sometimes you got to clean out the closet before you get to the California closet look you want. I think we're on the way to the California closet. And no allegiance to California closets. If they want to come do one of my closets, I'd be happy. But it's just my symbolism. But I think that all this crud has to surface, and all this angst and these things in our society that have been dysfunctional, they need to be exposed so we can get to the next place. So I think it's glorious, and I think it's gonna be fine. Like I said before, we're gonna get through this. It's just a lot of revelations right now, and it's gonna be okay.
I love your answer, and I feel like it swings back to the beginning. Like everything surfacing right now is surfacing because it wants to be cleansed. Like it wants to ascend, right? Like ourselves, and when our heart aches, that metaphor is gonna like help me so much the rest of my life. So I have to thank you again for that, because it's so easy for us as humans to try to alienate anything that doesn't give us pleasure, especially in a world today where everything is instant gratification, on to the next. But the real magic is actually working on things and recreating things and repurposing things and teaching new paradigms based off the old ones. And I love your answer, that it was so positive and uplifting. I love that.
Thank you.
Where are some unusual places that you've been?
Ooh. Okay, so when I was a kid, and you can still go there. There's an island in Lake Erie, and there's a crystal cave there. And that is one of the most magical places. And it's so funny because you grow up places and you're like, oh, that's just the crystal cave. But when I went down in that crystal cave, I knew that was a magical place. And I think that there's tons of places like that all over the earth. And I love caves. I love the Mammoth Caves in Kentucky. Those are absolutely crazy. And they connect to Texas. Like that waterway goes down to Texas. And that just blows my mind. I was on St. John's in October with my family, and I always want to find the hike. And they said, oh, there's petroglyphs. And so it was a long hike, and we finally reached them. And you talk about aliens. Well, these petroglyphs are pictures, and they're old. They're really, I can't remember how old they are, but they're really old. And it's a Martian guy. It's like a guy with a helmet around his head, and it's carved, ancient carving into this rock, and it's clearly not of Earth. And I was thinking the same thing. And as this woman, we were passing her back, we were heading out of the hike, we're heading up to the road, and this woman, she just walked by, and she's like, did you see the carvings? And I was like, yes, they're amazing. And she's like, yeah, and they're done by aliens, you know that. And I was like, I felt that. It was so funny because she walked right past my boys, right past my husband, went straight to me and told me that they were. And I was like, thank you for that validation, because I felt that in my heart, that they were out of this world. Like this was a sacred place. They came and left a message. And So like when things like that happen, I'm like, I know I'm living in magic. And she, you know, she's lived on the island her whole life. Her parents lived there when she's a teenager, and she told me her little story. That's why I love podcasting. Everyone tells me their story anyway, so I get to do it online. But yeah, I digress. So it's really fun. It's really fun to explore places like that, and they're always off the beaten path. So yeah, that's
such a cool story. That is such a cool story. After this call, I'm gonna have to draw a map of all the different places I have to go visit now. Julie, thank you so much for your wisdom and your high frequency and your healing words and these golden nuggets. And I can't wait to go on your website and try these energetic practices. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being a participant, because if you see the light in me, that means it's in you. And I'm happy to be here for you and anyone else. It's an honor. It really is.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Organic Matrix. If you're interested in learning more from Julie, check out her website and check out her book. If you're interested in learning more from Julie, check out her book and visit her website, Is it You Need a Pep Talk? That's the right one?
Yeah.
www.youneedapeptalk.com. All feedback is welcome and helps us serve our fellow Matrix members. To stay up to date with our Matrix mentors and what we have in store for you, bookmark our website and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. It was great to have you with us on the Organic Matrix, and we'll be seeing you on the following download.